Welcome back to another meeting. For you who is new here, welcome to our sisterhood, the club of all fabulous, smart, ambitious, friendship seeking, growth seeking, learning, seeking, being housewives that all want to just grow and be better. If this is what you like, make sure you like and subscribe and be back here on Thursday because we have meetings twice, not once, but twice a week. 10 a.m. Dutch local time. Why 10 a.m.? Because I figure I am a housewife. During the day, I am busy. In the weekend, my priorities are my family because most of us, our husbands will be off from work in the weekend. My husband is not really off from work every weekend, but sometimes he is, but the children are, so there are other activities that I have to attend. So I thought, weekends might not be the smartest day to have meetings. So I was thinking about back in the day when you had daytime TV and it was targeted to housewives. And it was most of the time early in the morning or during the day. Well, during the day when the children come home from school, I do not have time to be looking or attending meetings. But 10 a.m. right after breakfast, right when the children are off to school, that is when I have time. That's when I said 10 a.m. because it's hard. Because I did what every other influencer was doing, or the influencers I was looking at, Wednesday and Saturdays, or Wednesday and Sunday, Fridays. But my audience is busy. That's why Tuesday and Thursdays, 10 a.m. right before the weekend, so you get your information in right before the weekend, and then you can apply it during the weekend, see how it's working out for you. Just that little booster right before you go into the weekend, and then Tuesday right after the weekend when you are settled. Monday we are getting into the groove of things, but Tuesday, that is most of the time where you are settled in a bit more. You have some time for yourself left. So Tuesday and Thursday, I think it's perfect. But if you feel or think differently about that, let me know. Today we're talking about housewives. It's not really housewives. We are women first. We are women that chose a lifestyle of being a housewife, meaning to serve our husbands. And this task is not really laid away for only housewives, because if we look into the Bible, and I don't want to make it too religious because I know that there are different women in the group with different religious backgrounds, or they don't even have a religion. But in the Bible it says a woman was made out of the rib of a man, and she is here to help a man. That doesn't mean she is the help. That is what most people nowadays get out of it. Like I always said, what is your relationship with words? Because that will decide how you embody that and how you manifest that word. But if you just hear the word help, you are here to help. You are here to support, empower, be inspiring, be amused, to think with your husband, to pray for him so that he can be the best version of himself. You push him into purpose. You inspire him into purpose. You motivate him into purpose. You collaborate with him so that he can be the best version of himself. That means for you, because you are the support, you are the one that is holding the foundation. That means you have to work on you. You are here to help. You are here to support. So that means as the help, you cannot stay behind. You cannot sit back and relax and do nothing. As the help, you need to pour into yourself. You have to invest in yourself. You need to get smarter. You need to get wiser. You need to stay fit. You need to stay healthy. You need to stay strong. You need to be spiritually backed up. That means you need to know how to pray, how to talk over yourself, how to motivate yourself, how to inspire yourself. And that doesn't mean you have to do it all by yourself, because that is something I did in the past, thinking poorly, thinking that I had to do it all by myself. No, get yourself some good friends. Or like here in this club, this sisterhood. That's why I started this sisterhood. Because I said I need to surround myself with women that live a similar lifestyle, but maybe are further ahead, that are smarter, that are more experienced, so that I can learn from them, so that I can feed myself, but they can also feed off me. Because maybe they lack courage. Maybe they lack confidence, or I don't know. I don't know what you see in me. I know what I have, but I know for a fact that I have courage to stand here in front of a camera, to speak in a foreign language, because English is not my first language. But I felt if I would talk in Dutch, I would prohibit myself, I would limit myself, because there are not a lot of nations in the world that speak Dutch. I can speak English. I think you understand what I'm saying. So why not put myself out there by making videos in English, but also this is a way to sharpen my English, to better this skill, so that it can take me further in life and where I want to be, or where I see my family in the future. So I'm doing, with this one thing that I'm doing, I'm basically doing a lot. But first, it is all about surrounding yourself with the people that you aspire to be like. And I felt that there was a void online, because either you are a traditional wife and it's all about the cooking and the cleaning and looking a certain way. If you follow a little bit along social media, you know what you see when it comes to traditional wives. When it comes to stay-at-home moms, there's a whole nother category, which I don't see myself as a stay-at-home mom, because to me that is a totally different group. It's a different mindset. Their thing is not really to serve their husband. They just stay at home with the children for as long that it is needed. And after the children are a certain age, they probably will go back into the workforce. So this is different motivation. But also they are doing their thing online, because I see a lot of moms making content surrounding being a stay-at-home mom. But is that something I wanted to do, contribute to? No. I need motivation. I need inspiration. I need for people to see that I am a woman, that I also need certain information to make my life better, or meaning to become the woman I want to be and have the lifestyle that is attached to the woman that I am, or that I'm becoming. But on the other side, you have content out there for the bad, how do you call them, the boss babes, the entrepreneurs, the CEOs, the women that want to have it all and do it all and be a force within, that entrepreneur realm. I also can relate to that, but my goal is not to start a business or to have a $1 billion business. That is not my aim. Even though it's nice to make money, my aim is not to be a CEO of a successful company. My aim is to start a sisterhood or a community of like-minded women that also are ambitious, that want to grow in their home, that want to be a better wife, that want to be better caretakers, that want to be better in loving themselves, investing in themselves, pushing themselves, building and creating a life for their family, maybe want to be a better mom. But I didn't see that online, and that is why I started this sisterhood, because I think it's important to pour into yourself, love yourself, invest in yourself, take the courses, read the books, watch certain podcasts, surround yourself with certain people, follow certain people online that create content or speak to you, speak to your soul, speak to your growth, speak to the ambitions or the things that you are trying to achieve. It's very important, because as the people around you grow and become the people they are supposed to be in their purpose, you need to help them get there. But if you don't have the right knowledge, or even not the right knowledge, if you don't even have the power, the strength, the stamina to do so, you don't have the right network, how can you help them become the best versions of themselves? It's so important to invest in yourself, because you are here to help. You are here to make people better. And you cannot make people better if you aren't your best. You need to be your best. You need to be. Otherwise, these people cannot count on you, because these people are counting on you to do your job, to fulfill your role, to fulfill your purpose, so that they can fulfill their purpose. And you gonna have to need everything you can get. You need it all. You cannot say, okay, but I'm reading the books, I'm getting the information, but then you are feeding yourself fast food. You will not have the strength nor the physical health to help people. You cannot say, okay, I eat right, I do all that stuff, but then you're binge watching reality shows, because that is not feeding your mind. But then you cannot feed your mind, but then your soul, your spirit is broken, is in the past, is still thinking about what happened to you, and that is sabotaging who you are becoming. You see, all these things are connected. That's why you need to feed yourself on the right things. You need to feed yourself the right things. That's why I have this sisterhood, so that you can talk to the right people, connect with the right women. They can tell you which books to read, which podcasts to follow, which seminars to attend, which webinars to attend, because you need mentorship. I need mentorship, because I do not know it all. I do not. And that's why I wanted this sisterhood, because I acknowledge that I do not know it all. I don't. I do not come from a family of housewives. My mom was a single mom. She was a working mother. She didn't teach me how to become a mom. She didn't teach me how to be a wife, because I've never seen her do it, because my parents were divorced by the time I was 8. So I wasn't aware of how their relationship was, what the dynamic was, how they collaborated. I do not know these things, and what I do know is not going to help me in my marriage. Also, I didn't know anything about finances. My parents weren't rich. They weren't poor, but they weren't rich. They come from very poor-minded backgrounds. because my dad is from Ghana. His parents had, I think his father had 16 children, and I think he was a farmer or something like that, and not a fancy farmer like we know it here in the West, that he had a lot of acres and he had a tractor and everything was organized. It's just farming at stage one. My dad ran out of the house when he was 16 or 17 because he said there was no perspective. He didn't see himself growing up there. There was a lot of violence because of when you are broke or when you are poor, you just don't have perspective. You become hopeless. You become frustrated and irritated with yourself because you feel you are failing. You cannot fulfill your purpose. Your children expect all kinds of things of you that you cannot deliver. Your wife might be looking at you sideways because she thinks you are doing me wrong. I made the wrong decision by marrying you. I had other options. I could have lived a certain life. So with all that comes frustration, can come addiction, violence, and stuff like that. So my dad was like, I need to run out of this house and find myself a better future. My mom also comes from a poor background. Her father was a known person. He was an athlete. He was a soccer player. He was the captain of the national team back then. But mind you, we are talking 50s. The football pay wasn't, or soccer pay is not what the soccer players are being paid today. He had the fame, maybe he had opportunities, but there was not a lot of money. Also, my grandparents were never married from my maternal side. My grandfather had his wife. My grandmother was just a maybe a side piece. I cannot even say side chick because she was 15 and he was 20, so it was even illegal to be together. But he was already married and they had intercourse once, and my mom was born from that. And her mom later on got more children. I think she ended up with 12 children, no education, no perspective. So they were very poor, but at the same time, not really, because my mother's stepfather came in and he had a good job for that time. He was working for a company that was known in Suriname, was called Surelco. They were doing all the bauxite and all that stuff, so they could live in a house that was theirs. They didn't have to pay rent. The children can go to any activity they wanted, running track, soccer, swimming lessons, all that stuff was paid for if you worked there. So she had a great youth, but still you have the poor mindset. Because people from Suriname were made into slaves, and it was not like America where you had people that were made into slaves, but they were also surrounded by people who had money. Even though they were white people, you see possibilities. Even though you don't believe it's maybe possible for you, they saw that there was another side. Suriname, everybody came in as a slave or as a worker, and everybody was on the same level. Later on, yes, when slavery was abolished, you had certain people that had certain degrees and worked their way up, but it was still under the colonial rules. Netherlands were still the boss. They were still deciding what was happening. Later on, they got independent, but still, you come from a certain mindset. And if you do not take care of that mindset will travel with you throughout generations, and it will become a generational curse. So even though my mom came to the Netherlands, her dad brought her here, she finished her education here, there were still a lot of remnants from growing up in Suriname and having that poor mindset. So she taught a certain way, and even though you don't want maybe to give it to your children, you give them that same poor mindset, thinking you have to do it all yourself, that you almost have to work yourself to death to just get by. You cannot fall back on anybody. You cannot ask anybody anything because everybody is so busy with their lives. They have nothing to give. In that sense, their cup is empty. You feel like you're taking away from somebody because you're asking them to help you. All these things she gave to me, but now that I'm in a position of changing my mindset, I'm like, no, I'm not taking away from you. I'm just in awe in how you're doing things, and I want to learn. And we have a responsibility. If you think in ways of abundance and being rich, you want to give. Giving becomes second nature. It becomes something that you are supposed to do because you are in a position of abundance. You need to give. It's almost a violation to nature, to life, to God, to society if you do not give. But because you are thinking in ways to give, you also feel good by getting and good by asking, because you feel like I'm giving so much. It's okay for me to ask for help. It's okay for me to ask for guidance. So I'm in the mindset right now of, okay, I want to give because I have to give. It's not like I do not have to give. I have experience. I have joy. I can give what I have, and what I accumulated so far I can give to somebody else so that they can get ahead in life. But at the same time, I also understand that I'm not there yet, and that I also need more guidance because I didn't achieve, not achieve, but I didn't receive certain guidance. I now know and understand that I lack certain knowledge in certain areas of my life. And if I want to help my husband or my children, I need to acknowledge that, hey, I need more help in this area. Otherwise, I cannot help the people who are attached to me. That's why I am honest, and I'm doing a public announcement, or I'm just asking boldly. I am looking for a mentor, a coach to help me to get where I want to be in life. I know what I want. I see the vision. I see where I want to be in 10 years or even 5 years, but I need help in certain areas. For instance, I need help in the areas of spirituality, knowing and learning how to pray, because yes, I come from a religious background, but my religious background is so chaotic that I never had the right tools. My dad is from Ghana, but he was raised Muslim, came to the Netherlands, never practiced being a Muslim. My mom was raised evangelist. Saw her praying during dinner, you know, the standard generic prayers. All of a sudden, when my parents got divorced, my dad turned into a Christian, I think Baptist or Pentecostal. Then my mom became Muslim. She started praying her prayers, how she was being told to pray. I was raised Roman Catholic, where you learn how to pray, but it's just also generic prayers. Later on, I went to Suriname, got baptized there because I got baptized when I was younger. I did the communion. I did the thing after communion within the Roman in the Catholic religion. But then I went to Suriname and I baptized and became evangelist. But I still need to know how to pray. I pray. Don't get me wrong, I pray, but I really need to understand prayer. I need to understand certain things. And I feel like there is too much space between, for instance, a preacher or somebody you see online, which you don't have direct contact with. Because there are certain questions I have, or there are certain things I don't understand or need more clarity on. And I feel like I don't know where to go with these questions, because even my husband, he's evangelist. He's also not somebody that practices religion. Really, he's not a practitioner. And we don't have that guidance on that, in that field. And if you want to become better and at what you're doing, that is something I have learned from doing my research and observing people who are successful. They have coaches for everything. They are not ashamed. They don't act like they are doing it by themselves. They don't, they acknowledge that they cannot do it all. They know what they are doing well. But even the thing that they are doing well, they still have coaches and trainers. For instance, Michael Jackson was one of the greatest entertainers. He was a great dancer, but he still had choreographers. You understand? You would think, oh, but he knows how to dance, right? Why does he need a choreographer? Because you need somebody with a different eye, with a different vision or a different interpretation, and that can add to what you already know. Otherwise, you will just keep getting the same things. And is it not Einstein who said, if you do the same thing but expect a different result, you are delusional? So even for myself, I see that I'm going into circles. So I want to have a personal mentor that can help me, that I can ask questions if I feel that I'm stuck somewhere, if I don't know how to pray, or if I need maybe answers with certain information that I'm getting, or answers from God. Where I need to go from here? What does this mean? Which verse can I read, or which article that will explain this Bible verse better? I think I need that. But also I would like to have a coach when it comes to my financial situation, because also I never had that. My parents were not rich. They always were struggling with money. They only knew how to work for money. They don't understand the concept of investing or being an entrepreneur. For my immediate circle, I'm the first one that started a business. I started my first business in 2013 officially. I always was entrepreneurial because I used to braid hair in my spare time and made money with that. I did all types of stuff. I used to dance. Not dance as a stripper, but I was part of a dance school, and we were in the, they called it like a demo team. We were the ones that were doing the promotion for the dance school, so that the dance school could scale and branch out and do bigger and better things. And that is how we got paid. And we would go on to festivals, we would go all types of places just to make money and promote the dance school. So I've been doing that from a young age. I think ever since 2003, I was doing that. And then I was braiding hair, or I was always a hustler. I could hustle and make money with things I just knew. My dad is also like that. I don't have to lie for him. My dad is a car mechanic by trade, but his biggest wish was to have a own garage. But because he came to the Netherlands, he wasn't that comfortable and confident. My mom is not really somebody that will support entrepreneurship. She's really about having a steady income and she finds it very scary to be with an entrepreneur, and one time you get a lot of money and some days it's bad. So she never supported my dad in having his own garage, even though he had a very big clientele. So what he did, during the weekends he would fix people's cars, and that is how he made extra money during the weekend. So I have that same spirit as he has, because he didn't sit back and not make money. He always made money in his vacation time, after work, during the weekends he would fix cars. But my parents never, ever since I know them, they have been the same. They've never grown. They never scaled. They also were very scared, especially my mom, to go get a better position at her job because of the responsibility. Let me just say this. My parents don't like a lot of responsibilities. It scares them. My dad is also like that. Even with his children, he doesn't like the responsibility. Yes, he has the children, but he runs away from the responsibilities. And my mom just has to take on the responsibilities, even though she doesn't really like it. She doesn't see the beauty in it, that it can make you grow. It makes you stronger. She just does what she needs to do and hopes and pray that it will be over soon. So now that I'm in a position of, okay, I want to grow. I want the responsibility because I want a certain lifestyle, because I want to give my children a certain, not only a certain life, but certain opportunities that acquire finances, horseback riding, owning a horse, all that stuff requires money. So I always will do my best to give them a better life. My husband is the same. He comes from a better background. His dad was a lawyer by trade, but then started to work for the government and for the financial department or something like that. His mom was a teacher, and they had their own home. They built their own home. They went on vacation every year. Mind you, being grown up in Suriname, which is a very poor country, it's a third world country, is very amazing that you can live that life. His dad had a chauffeur. They were living a certain lifestyle. So he also wants his children to experience that. But he also wants better for himself. He wants to live a certain lifestyle. So we have to take certain responsibilities. So we both work, not only hard, but we do what we have to do to achieve that goal. For now, my husband is working a job, and on top of that, he is building his own platform and his own brand. So he's doing two things at the same time, because we took some hits. We wrote a book. We were also always busy with social media and stuff like that. We wrote a book about relationships. Things didn't work out as planned. We made some debts and stuff like that. So we had to do what we have to do. And that meant he needed to get a job so we could rebuild ourselves up. Also, we immigrated to Suriname in 2019. Stayed there for 3.5 years, invested in property, and then we had to get back to the Netherlands, also because Corona just was a difficult period. I was asked to come back to the Netherlands because of the platform that I had built in the Netherlands of just being an outspoken woman. I was constantly being asked to participate in podcasts and TV shows and stuff like that, and I had to decline because I was in Suriname, and I felt like I can keep declining, but I can also go back to the Netherlands and see and explore what I can do with that, especially because we wrote the book. I thought it would be a good idea to explore that and to do the marketing and to sell books and build a new life for ourselves. Things didn't work out, but yet we came here and we made the best out of it. meanwhile, we had two children. We added 2 children to the 2 we already had, so now we have 4 children. But nonetheless, I have to learn about taking responsibilities, learning how to invest money correctly, also learning that it's good to invest in yourself, taking the money, investing in yourself, learning new trades. I've always done that, but I've done that as a single woman. I remember that I took this time you had Lily Galici with Galici Glam. I took that course. It was not even a course, it was a subscription from celebrity makeup artists, and every week there were webinars, and you paid an X amount of money and you had access to all these webinars. I can recall that she, and at the time her ex-boyfriend, who is very popular and known right now, I think his name is Dar, and he is doing his thing online, and they were doing a webinar together on how to grow a successful business in the beauty and glam realm. What else? I did a lot of webinars throughout the years, and even I can remember when, what is his name? He is Kylie Jenner's makeup artist. I don't recall his name. Ariel, Makeup by Ariel. He came to the Netherlands, and at the time I was dating my husband, and we were not dating, we were together, and I was living with him, and I told him, oh wow, Ariel Tejada is coming to the Netherlands, and he is Kylie Jenner's makeup, I have to go. And I can remember he paid 700 euros for me to attend that class. I always invested in myself. I also did a makeup course here in the Netherlands. I paid over 2,000 euros for that makeup course. It took over a year. I had to take exams and stuff like that. So I'm a certified makeup artist. I've always invested in myself. Certain books. I attended things of Grant Cardone webinars. And I sat there, even though I had the children, sat there, wrote the notes, listened which books to read. Tony Robbins, when he has his 3-day events with his colleague or his partner, I don't know what his name is, and I sit there. My husband always said, what are you doing? I'm like, I want to learn, I want to grow, I want to understand what I can do to grow. But it was all male based. Now I'm really about webinars that can help me as a housewife. I also bought, what are these, is it masterclass? I think it's masterclass, where all these different known people, known or unknown, at least successful people, they have a course and you can take that course. I saw the one of Kim Kardashian, Naomi Campbell, Martha Stewart, Kris Jenner. I'm always into investing in myself, but it's very distant, because you watch it, you cannot ask questions, or maybe you can. Oh, I also watched the one of, what is his name? I watched that one just a few weeks ago. The drag guy, what is his name? I forgot. You know, RuPaul, yes, RuPaul. I watched that one. I'm always in the game of investing and pouring back into myself, because I know I need it. Because my husband comes to me with questions and things he wants to know, or things he's stuck with his platform. My children come to me with questions. My parents come to me with questions, whether it needs to be the other way around. But they always come to me with questions and problems and issues. Then you have the children, and they want answers, because they feel that I am the one that can help them solve that problem or solve that issue. So I need to learn and know a lot of things. Meanwhile, I'm just a person, I like fashion, makeup, but I cannot be stuck into these two things. So I have to learn a lot of things. I love interior design, but I never did it. My mom was not an interior design queen. My dad neither. They're very poor-minded people, not in a bad way, but they never took the time to invest in themselves, to learn more, to try things, to take on the responsibility, not be scared of the accountability. So now I really have to start from the ground up. I'm learning. That's why I did not decorate yet. I'm learning. I'm watching Homeworthy. I'm watching the Potted Boxwood because I really like the traditional interior. I'm learning fabrics. I'm learning brands. I'm learning paint, Benjamin Moore, PJ Moore. I'm learning a lot of stuff. I'm learning how to decorate a Christmas tree properly with ornaments. I'm watching all these things and pouring back into myself. I have I don't know what her name is, something with the Toparian. She reviews books, interior design books. I watch her. I have magazines, Southern Living, Veranda, all that stuff. I'm learning. I'm learning before I'm executing. And I think that art is gone. We live in a time where people say you don't need to go to school. It's a played out system. Just go for your goals and your dreams, especially the young generation. And then they get the success and they get, you know, all these things. But you see, they crash out because they lack the guidance. It's so important. I'm more old school. I don't mind being an intern first and then work my way up because I know that I'm going to learn stuff along the way that I need when I'm in the position of being the responsible one, being the leader or the CEO. So I don't mind taking my time. And there you can see I come from a time where patience and time were we just took our time. That is very difficult in a time where everything's being rushed and microwaved and you need the success today and 3 days to manifest your dream life. And sometimes you fall for it, but I understand that my dream life, the things I want, it cannot be manifested in 3 days, 10 days, 14 days. It will take years, and I need guidance. I need people who are going to tell me what I need to look out for, where I can get the proper information. I don't shy away from being a mentee or a student. I love the idea of having somebody guiding me that knows more, that's going to school me, because I've been out of school over almost 20 years. It's almost 20 years ago that I attended school. I do not have a teacher. I haven't had a teacher in so long. How come you just attend school or you go into whatever you're doing? It could be dance class, soccer, or whatever. And you have a teacher, you have a coach, you have a trainer. And all of a sudden you're just being let go into the world as if that is normal. When it's not normal. To me, it's not normal. It's not normal that I was just thrown into the world, thrown into marriage, thrown into being a mother, thrown into being an entrepreneur, when I do not have experience in none of these areas. And now that I'm in it, I'm like, I don't have any information. I don't have experience. And I'm somebody, I want to do things good, well, to the best of my ability. And without this information, I cannot do it to the best of my ability. So I love the idea of having a coach or a mentor that will teach me, a friend, that has been there before, knows where I'm going, and will tell me, babe, this is how you should do it. or this is how I did it. Watch out for this. Make sure you take care of the children. Make sure that they are your priority. Make sure you do this in your marriage. Don't take it for granted. I need that. I really need that. I am a firm believer of having mentorship. I don't believe we should be out here by ourselves. I think you could use a mentor even though you're 80 years old. Because there are people that are ahead of you that can guide you like a shepherd. But you need to be transparent. That is also something I didn't grow up with. Within the Surinamese culture, people really believe in black magic. People are being jealous and envious, and that they have the power to block your future or to take away your future or take away your good fortune. So they always tell us to be quiet, not to speak on what you're doing, with what your dreams and plans are. Keep all this to yourself. And it's so silly because now I have to unlearn all these things, because if I want to grow and if I want to I cannot come here and not tell you, or not even you, for instance, if I have a vision or a plan for the future and then I meet people who might or could help me or are in a position to help me to add to my plan or take me to the next level or collaborate with, or they know somebody that might be interested in investing in what I want to do. But I don't share because I'm scared that they might take my plan or run away with my vision. That is something I had to unlearn because I am with a Surinamese man. My husband is also Surinamese. He thinks like that. And it's difficult, so I have to help him and teach him not to think like that, because he really feels like, oh, people will steal your stuff, conspiracy and stuff like that. But you cannot think like that always, because how is your plan going to work if you constantly keep it to yourself? You don't know who that person might know. You don't know if that person was thinking about the same thing. For instance, when I met my husband, I told him I was writing a book on domestic violence and my experience with that. It propelled him, compelled him to tell me about his dream. And he was talking about, he wanted to write a book, a guide on how to do relationships right, a manual on how to have a successful relationship. He told me about it, and I said, I'm going to help you with it. Like I knew what I was doing. I had no clue what I was doing. I thought I'm just writing, and I wrote all the words, and I said, if I can do that, then I can also help you get that done. And we broke up. We were dating for 3 months and we broke up. And look at us now. We wrote a book. We wrote it together. If he didn't tell me, the book wouldn't be here, because by himself he would never write the book, because he was walking with this idea for a long time. Just by his thing was, why are relationships failing? Why is there a manual for everything but not for relationships? Something that is so important, that's had so much effect and influence on our life. Why isn't there a manual for that? Why didn't he write it before? Because there was nothing triggering him, motivating him, inspiring him, pushing him to do so. I came into his life and we got it done. Now it's published, self-published. Wait a minute, I'm going to get you the book. So this is the book. This is the back of the book. And it was not easy to create this book because, okay, you are in control of the words, all that stuff. Then you have to think about how are we going to package this. At first we wrote the book. The book had over 300 pages. Then we had to be honest with ourselves, talking about who's going to read 300 pages if we are really going to help people with their relationship. That means all people. Not all people are readers. Some people don't like to read, they never read. Okay, babe, we have to rewrite the whole book. After 2 years, I rewrote the whole book. And I said we have to be honest, not about what we think people want to hear, not what is popular on social media. What did we do to be successful in our marriages? This is not about finances. This is just being successful, living the life you want to live. Because I am successful because I wanted to be a housewife. I have achieved that. Now it seems so simple, but when you are single and you are working and you're doing all types of stuff to maintain yourself, you're working, having your own business, your friendships, whatever. Now you are on the dating market. How are you going to tell somebody that you want to be a housewife in a day and age where being a housewife is not popular? We are not in the housewife era anymore. We are in the era of being a boss babe. And men seek out women that are boss babes. Men seek out women that are successful and that drive beautiful cars. I can remember when my first boyfriend, he would diss me because I didn't have all these things. Mind you, I was a student. I was studying law. But then he would be angry thinking of the future, that if she becomes a lawyer, she will be wealthy, she would be established, she would be influential. Why would she be with me? So that became a lot of friction, but that's a whole nother story. But he seeked out women that would be successful, and he would date them or cling on to them so that he didn't have to do the work and didn't have to do the responsibility part of it. Now I have conquered that by just saying, this is what I want. I was clear to my husband. I told him this is what I want. If you cannot do that for me, we will not enter into a relationship. When at the time that I said it, I didn't say it because I wanted a relationship. I just said it because I wanted to keep doing what I was doing, and I was a model, and I didn't want to give that up for something that I didn't know if it would last. And also, I just came out of 2 relationships. In total, it took more than 7 years of my life. I wasn't, eager to jump into a relationship. So I told him, sir, if you cannot do this for me, please leave me alone. Let me be the model I am and continue on with my life, which he did. And almost a year later, or over a year later, he came back. He said, but you are the girl for me. So what you gonna do? So now you have that. You wrote the story. You agreed upon the story, because now I had to tell him, babe, I redid the whole book. Please read it. And my husband is somebody who likes a little bit, that little edge. He likes to trigger people. He likes to kick people in the knee a little bit to get a reaction. I'm not that type of person. I'm just about peace, community, empathy, understanding where you're coming from, being relatable, being vulnerable, opening up. That is very uncomfortable for him. He's really a guy, but I am really a woman. I want to see the struggle, the journey. I enjoy that part. When I look at successful people, I enjoy listening to the journey, because the journey, that is where the gems are. That is where you're going to learn. You're not going to learn from, oh, I'm a successful CEO and I'm a billionaire. That is not where you're going to learn. You're going to learn from the story. You're going to learn from the experience that that person went through, and that is how you become successful. So I told my husband, we need to tell our own story. We need to tell where we come from, what our background is, what are we doing today to make sure that this is a successful marriage. Now you have to think on how to package this stuff. How is the book going to look? I can show you how the first book looked, and it does not look like this. This is how the first book looks. Look how thick this book is. Look at the difference. Totally not it's not handy at all. The cover is, you know, it's not personal. It doesn't say anything. Some people will say it looks scientifically. The back, you know, everything is just no. The layout of the book, it's just no. This one. Then you have to do the photo shoot. Thank God I was a model, so I had an eye for what good photography looks like. I need to find a photographer that understood dark skin. I did my own makeup. I did my own hair. I did everything myself. Because the book is about eclipse becoming one, husband and wife becoming one, staying one, staying, you know, one, like together. And so many things needed to be done, and I did that. And it probably would have gone way faster if I had a coach, somebody who was experienced at that. But what I wanted to tell you about this before I went on showing you the book, if you do not like to talk about what you're going to do or what you're busy with, you will miss out. Because I bring my children to school every morning. I talk to almost every parent there. I'm just being kind, listening, talking. And at one point, a mother asked me, oh, what are you doing? Do you work? Oh, no, I'm a housewife, but my husband and I wrote a book, blah, 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 blah. Right now, I'm struggling with, you know, I'm not the best writer, meaning I don't know the Dutch grammar. It's very hard for me. Also because I've been stuck in doing things in English for so long. And then she told me, oh, I'm a Dutch teacher. I studied Dutch language at the university, and now I am a Dutch teacher at a high school at the highest level. I was like, oh, that's nice. Okay, so you go into work. A few months in, I thought, wow, I need somebody to look into the grammar of this book, because I believe I made so many mistakes. And my husband and I tried to figure it out, even though his Dutch is better than mine. He's better in grammar than I am. It was so overwhelming. At one point you don't see it anymore. Also, you are limited, because what is normal to you can be a mistake because you don't see it. To you it's normal. And then I remembered, oh, I was talking to this lady and she is a Dutch teacher. How, I mean, it couldn't been better, right? I asked her, oh, can you please read this book for me? I know you're busy and stuff, because I didn't want to pay somebody so many, because I think it's 70 cents per was it sentence or something like that. So it would cost me almost 3,000 euros for somebody professionally to go through this book, because we published this independently. We didn't want to go to a publisher and give away our rights just for a paycheck, because at the end of the day, it's your own story. You want to tell your story how you want to tell it. You want your own rights. Maybe later on you want to make a documentary out of it or a film. Then you want to keep your own rights and not be pimped for money. But I didn't have the 3,000 euros. That was a lot of money. Or if I had, even if I had it, I think I had it, but we also had to build a website. We had to build a website where people could order the book from, because otherwise I had to put it on Amazon, and Amazon would take, I think, 35% or 40% for you to place your book on there. So that means you will be left with 60%. And there was a website here in the Netherlands where everybody buys books from or orders books from. That was bol.com. They would take 30%. And if you would place it on all these different platforms, you would get, of course, less income. And the only thing they would do was pack and send out your stuff. Luckily for me, I worked at a warehouse and I was the head person that would pack packages for them. So I understood the system and how to do that. So I rather invested the money in building a website, getting 100% of the proceedings, and ship them out ourselves. But if I didn't talk to her, if I wasn't transparent with her, this would never happen. I would have had to pay the 3,000 euros. Probably couldn't even afford a website then. Now I had all of that, and I had the book. Yes, we did that. I had to order this barcode. There's so many things you have to do, but now I have that knowledge, how to self-publish a book, how to do all this stuff. And trust me, I only know how to self-publish a book because I was listening to, her name is Keisha. What is her name? Is it Color Me Pink? I don't know. She was a Keisha Irving. She was from the States. She was a novelist. She would write books, but she did reviews on all the reality shows, Love and Hip Hop, Housewives, all these reality shows. She was a crazy Beyonce fan, and she said she was self-publishing books. She was doing videos online because at the time I think she was diagnosed with cancer, ovarian cancer or something like that, and she was just making funny videos or reviews online. But she also talked about reviewing writing and self-publishing books, and I got that information, and she sparked me to write my first book initially in 2014. I thought if she did it, I can do it. And I wrote her a whole email talking about I want to publish my own book, blah 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 blah. She started following me online, and she was following my Instagram, and we had we spoke now and then I didn't post for a long time, and I think I started posting again in 2015, and she was like, I was so happy that you're back on Instagram. I missed you, Baldy, because at the time I had my hair real short, real low. But she really inspired me to write a book, not knowing that almost 10 years later that I would really write and publish my book. So that's why I always say be transparent. I know it's very scary. I know people can run off. I know some people have bad intentions, but if you have a good heart and if you have good intentions, you will draw in only positive and good people. Nobody can steal from you. You will always get a bigger and better and brighter idea. That's why I'm just open and transparent with you. Yes, I need a mentor. Matter of fact, I need multiple mentors and coaches. I do not shy away from that. I'm not ashamed because I want to grow. I want to be better. And I know I can limit myself, but also it will just go way faster. I will make less mistakes because I have somebody by my side that I can call and ask, because I do not have a mom where I can do that with. I do not have grandparents I can do that with. I have friends, but I just need somebody who has walked a similar path, that has a husband that is pushing himself to be the best version of himself and starting a business, a brand, a platform where there is a lot weighing on me, where I have to take care of myself, the children, the home, and my husband and other people in my community. So there's a lot of weight on me, and I need somebody that can understand that position, to understand the responsibilities that I have, and can help me with that, how to navigate that, I can unwind and relax and let go, how to pray. So if you feel called, if you know somebody like that, please let me know in the comments or send me a DM. I really need you. I need you in my life, and I believe God has sent you here as an angel for me that can help me further my life. And I hope that you see me as an angel as well, and that you will also use me in a way that you can be better, that you can be a better wife, a better friend to yourself, or love yourself better, be a better mom, to have courage and go after your dreams, to speak up for yourself, to fend for yourself, not to be scared, to to share what you feel and be vulnerable and say that, hey, I need help, I don't know it all, or babe, I need this from you, I feel neglected, or I feel that we can go into another direction, I feel strongly that there's something there for us. I hope you get that away from me. Make sure you like and subscribe to this channel. Make sure that you are back here on Thursday for another meeting. I hope to get some feedback from you, to get suggestions for upcoming videos and meetings, but also people you want here on this platform. If you know coaches or people that you really want here to coach you, guide you, maybe we can do a seminar, webinar. I see events in the future. Definitely get a good group of women that can speak to us and uplift us, empower us to make sure that we are the best versions of ourselves. If you have names, please let them know in the comments. I have names. I already said that before and in previous meetings, but I want to know from you what you want, what you need from me, so that I can get it done and be courageous and email these people and ask these people, will you join us in our housewife club, in our sisterhood? Also, if you have suggestions for books that we can read, books that can make us better as wives, as human beings, as women, how to love ourselves better, how to pray better, or whatever, how to be better in our finances, please let us know in the comments. With the holiday season coming up, it's extra pressure for us housewives. People expect us to perform. People expect us to host, to have beautiful dinners, beautiful dinnerware, and beautiful house decked out, decorated. If you have somebody that can help us with that, you know, an interior designer that wants to speak on that, and how we housewives can really separate us from the other women, just so that people, you know, play into that housewife role a little bit, because people expect it from us, because we don't work, we don't have a job, that people expect us to go the extravagant route. Maybe you have somebody that can speak and let us know the new things we can do, the trends when it comes to Christmas decorating. We don't have Thanksgiving in the Netherlands, we have Sinterklaas, and then we have Christmas. I know in other countries you have other stuff, but if we want to have somebody on here, let us know. If you want to donate, please do so that we can have these people on here, or to have better camera equipment, or to rent a studio where we can have these interviews. Or if you want me to come over to your country, your place, let me know. If you want me to do a episode on how you are living as a housewife in Ghana, Suriname, South Africa, Nigeria, it doesn't matter. I will be there if you invite me over. It doesn't matter. It's our sisterhood. We can do whatever, as long as it's gonna help our community. I'm here for it. yeah, I think I said it all. The book, I will will translate this book in different languages. For now it's only in Dutch. So if you know somebody, I'm just being transparent, if you know somebody that can help us translate that book, maybe in your language, maybe in Spanish, French, English, German, Portuguese, let us know, so that you can also have a copy of this book and apply it to your marriage, your mindset, your way of thinking, so that you can get the relationship, the marriage that you and your husband want. Because it's important that you live the life of your dreams. Do not have a marriage that is generic because other people think that is how you should have a marriage, or because of your church or your Islamic background. You should live the life that you want. I'm living my dream life. I wanted to be a housewife. My husband wanted to be a provider and have his wife at home. He finds it very important that his wife has a great relationship with his children, especially the women, because he says his sisters did not have a good relationship with their mom. Also, I do not have the best relationship with my mom. And he finds that very unfortunate. So he felt that it was important for me to have a great relationship with my daughters. And he said, if it helps for you to stay at home, so you can build that, so that you are not stressed and not frustrated and irritated. Because if you are stressed and life is overwhelming, you have the job and you have the children and the husband, and you are so stressed out, I'm telling you, it will show up in your character. You will be so irritated. You will be so distant. You'll be overworked. I can tell sometimes when I am doing too much, everything that the children are doing is just being exaggerated. The normal noise they make, it comes into my brain 50,000 times stronger. And once I feel that, I start being very irritated. I become frustrated. I start to take it on the children. Fortunately, it doesn't happen often because I am at home. I have the time to step back and relax and, not take on too much. But sometimes it happens that I overdo because I am an overachiever. I do a lot a day, sometimes too much, because I think what I can do today, I do not have to do tomorrow. That is my thought process. So if I do it today, then I can have more free time tomorrow. But sometimes I overdo it. So I'm so grateful to my husband that he said, I will grant your wish and you can stay at home, be a housewife, and have a good relationship with yourself, with me, but also with the children. At the time, we did not have children yet. The children came in 3 years after we started living together. So we were together for 3 years before our first child was born. And I'm so grateful that first of all, wanted that for myself, that I said to myself, I want to be a housewife. Secondly, I'm so proud of myself that I was bold and courageous enough to tell it to my husband, my then boyfriend, that this is what I want. And then third, that he granted me that wish, because that makes it that I now live the life of my dreams, and I can be the wife, the husband, the woman that I want to be, and how I show up in the world. Because if I was working, there would be no way that I would start a sisterhood and be standing here and filming meetings twice a week and doing and planning so much more for our sisterhood. So be courageous, be bold, take that away from me, speak up for yourself. Make sure you surround yourself with great women that can help you grow, that can be a mentor to help you guide where you want to be. Be transparent. Be transparent so that they can listen to what you have to say, think with you, guide you into the right direction, and make sure you are here back on Thursday. I love you, I missed you, and I'm so happy that I can provide this platform for you, and I hope that you take away from it as much as you can, and then I will see you again.